I thought I knew what happiness felt like. Standing at that altar on a beach in Oregon watching Sarah walk toward me in her white dress. I believed I had found my forever. The waves crashed behind us, our closest friends and family smiled through tears, and when she said those two words, I felt complete. That was 14 days before she packed her bags and walked out of our apartment to be with him. 14 days. 2 weeks of marriage before I learned what it really means to be someone's second choice. Before we dive into what happened next, I would love to know where you are watching this from. Drop your city or country in the comments below. And if you are ready to hear how this story unfolds, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Trust me, you will want to stick around for how this ends. I met Sarah 2 years before our wedding at a coffee shop in downtown Seattle. I was 26, working as a software engineer at a tech startup, spending my Saturday afternoon debugging code on my laptop. She walked in, wearing paint-splattered jeans and an oversized sweater, her dark hair pulled into a messy bun. She ordered a caramel latte and sat at the table next to mine, pulling out a sketchbook. I noticed her sketching the barista behind the counter, capturing details I had walked past 100 times without seeing. When she caught me looking, instead of being annoyed, she smiled and turned the sketchbook toward me. The drawing was beautiful. That is how we started talking. She was a graphic designer freelancing for various clients around the city. We bonded over our shared love of indie music and late-night walks through Pike Place Market. Our relationship grew naturally over the following months. Sarah had this energy about her that made everything feel more vibrant. She saw beauty in ordinary things and taught me to slow down and notice the world around me. 6 months in, we moved in together. A year later, I proposed at the same coffee shop where we met. She cried and said yes immediately. During our time together, Sarah mentioned her ex-boyfriend Derek a few times. They had dated in college for 3 years, she told me. He had been her first serious relationship, but it ended badly. According to Sarah, Derek had commitment issues and eventually broke her heart by choosing his career over their relationship. She said they had not spoken in over 3 years, and she had moved on completely. I believed her. Why would I not? We planned a small wedding. Neither of us wanted something huge and extravagant. We chose a spot on the Oregon coast, invited 20 people, and kept everything simple and meaningful. The ceremony was perfect. I remember looking into her eyes as she repeated her vows, hearing her promise to love me through everything life would throw at us. I meant every word of my own vows. I thought she did too. Our honeymoon was short, just 4 days at a cabin near Mount Rainier. I had a big project deadline at work, so we planned to take a longer trip later in the year. Those 4 days felt magical. We hiked through forest trails, cooked meals together, and talked about our future. We discussed buying a house, maybe starting a family in a couple of years. Everything seemed so clear, so certain. Then we came home and started our life as a married couple. The first week felt normal. We settled into routines, joked about being husband and wife, and I felt grateful every single day. But somewhere around day 8, things shifted. Sarah became distant. She spent more time on her phone, angling the screen away when I walked by. When I asked about her day, her answers grew shorter, vaguer. I told myself she was stressed. She had mentioned a difficult client at work. A big project with tight deadlines. I tried to be supportive, taking over more of the cooking and cleaning so she could focus. I did not want to be the suspicious husband who questioned everything. I wanted to trust my wife. On the 9th night of our marriage, I woke up around 2 in the morning and realized Sarah was not in bed. I found her on our apartment balcony, phone pressed to her ear, speaking in a low voice. I stood in the doorway and heard her say, "I know. I miss you too." My stomach dropped. When she noticed me, she quickly said goodbye and hung up. I asked who she was talking to at 2 in the morning. She said it was an old friend going through a rough time, someone who needed support. The explanation seemed reasonable enough, but something in her voice did not match her words. I wanted to push further, but I also did not want to be that person, the jealous spouse who could not let their partner have privacy. So I dropped it. I wish now that I had not. The real unraveling began on day 13. I woke up early for a morning, run my new routine for clearing my head before work. Sarah was still asleep. I went to the kitchen to make coffee and saw her phone on the counter. She must have left it there when she went to bed. As I walked past the screen, lit up with a text notification. The message was from someone saved as D in her contacts. The preview read, "Cannot wait to see you tonight. I have been thinking about us." My hands started shaking. I stood there staring at those words, trying to make them mean something other than what they obviously meant. My mind raced through possibilities. Maybe it was a friend named Diana or David. Maybe it was a work thing taken out of context. But deep down I knew exactly what this was. I heard Sarah coming down the hallway, and I still had her phone in my hand. She froze when she saw me, and the look on her face confirmed everything. Not anger at the invasion of privacy, but fear at being caught. "Who is D?" I asked, my voice barely steady. She did not answer right away. She just stood there in her pajamas looking at the floor. Finally she whispered, "Derek." The name hit me like a physical blow. "Your ex, Derek. The one you have not talked to in 3 years. He reached out a week before the wedding," she said quietly. "I did not know what to do. I did not want to upset you right before the ceremony, so I just responded to be polite. But then we kept talking, and it just..." She trailed off. I felt sick. "You have been talking to your ex-boyfriend since before we got married." Sarah started crying. She told me Derek had sent her a long message, saying he had made the biggest mistake of his life by letting her go. He said he had spent years trying to move on, but could not. He had been in therapy, worked on himself, and realized she was the only person he ever truly loved. He asked if they could meet just to talk. At first, I told him no. Sarah said through tears. I told him I was getting married. But he kept writing these long messages about all our memories together, about how good we were. And I started remembering too. All those feelings I thought I had buried came back. I could barely breathe. "So what, you have been having an emotional affair with him for the past 2 weeks. While we have been married, I did not mean for it to happen." She sobbed. "I love you, Pablo. I do. But when Derek came back, I started questioning everything. All these feelings I thought were gone just flooded back, and I do not know what to do. I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw something. Instead, I just asked the question I was terrified to hear answered. Do you want to be with him?" The pause before she answered told me everything. "I do not know," she finally said. "I am so confused." That night was the longest of my life. We stayed up until dawn, going in circles. I begged her to give our marriage a real chance, to cut off contact with Derek and work on us. She said she could not promise that. She said she needed time to figure out what she really wanted. I told her we just got married 2 weeks ago. She should not need time to figure out if she wanted to stay married. By morning, nothing was resolved. I went to work exhausted and broken. I could not focus on anything. Around noon, Marcus, my best friend since college, noticed something was wrong and pulled me aside. I told him everything. He was furious on my behalf, but mostly he was there, solid and supportive in a way I desperately needed. When I got home that evening, Sarah had made a decision. She was packing a suitcase when I walked in. My heart sank. "I am sorry," she said, not looking at me. "I cannot do this. I cannot stay here pretending I am not thinking about him every second. It is not fair to you. So that is it." My voice cracked. 2 weeks. And you are done. She finally looked at me, tears streaming down her face. "I loved you. I still do. But I loved him first. And when he came back, I realized I never really stopped. I thought I could move on, that what we had would be enough. But it is not. I am sorry, Pablo. I am so sorry." I watched her pack the rest of her things in a blur. She took her clothes, her art supplies, and the framed photo from our wedding. She left her ring on the kitchen table. When she walked out the door, she turned back once and said, "I hope someday you can forgive me." Then she was gone. The apartment felt impossibly empty. I stood there for what felt like hours, just staring at nothing. Eventually, I called Marcus. He came over immediately and stayed with me for the next 3 days. I do not remember much about that time, except the overwhelming pain of feeling like a complete fool. My family was devastated and angry when I told them. My mother wanted to call Sarah and tell her exactly what she thought. I asked her not to. What was the point? My little sister sent me care packages with my favorite snacks and books. My dad, who never talks about emotions, called me every day just to check in. Their support meant everything, even though nothing could really ease the pain. I contacted a divorce lawyer within the week. Sarah did not contest anything. She signed whatever papers needed signing. The whole process was fast and clinical. Nothing like the slow, hopeful build of planning a wedding. Within a month it was done. 2 weeks of marriage, 1 month of paperwork, and it was over. The hardest part was seeing them together on social media. Sarah had not blocked me, probably out of guilt, rather than consideration. I saw photos of her and Derek at restaurants, at concerts, looking happy. Every image felt like a knife twisting. Marcus finally sat me down and made me block her on everything. "You are torturing yourself," he said. "Let her go." But letting go was harder than I expected. I kept replaying everything, looking for signs I missed. Had she ever really loved me? Was our entire relationship a lie? Did she think about him on our wedding day? The questions haunted me. Nights were the worst. I would lie in bed, unable to sleep, feeling the empty space where she used to be. I lost weight because eating felt like too much effort. Work became my only escape, and even that was difficult. My boss noticed and was surprisingly understanding, giving me lighter assignments and flexible hours. Marcus practically moved in. He made sure I ate, forced me to leave the apartment, and listened to me talk through the same painful thoughts over and over. He never once said "I told you so," even though he had noticed things about Sarah I had missed. He had mentioned once that she seemed non-committal about certain future plans. I had brushed it off. I wished I had listened. Around week 3, I hit a breaking point. I was either going to let this destroy me or I was going to survive. I chose survival. I started running every morning, pushing my body until my mind went quiet. I went back to therapy, something I had done years ago for anxiety. My therapist helped me understand that Sarah's choices were not a reflection of my worth. Her inability to commit to our marriage was about her own issues, not my inadequacy. Slowly, painfully, I began to heal. I threw myself into work and got promoted to senior engineer. I reconnected with hobbies I had neglected. I spent more time with family and friends. Some days were harder than others, but each week got a little easier. I was learning to be okay on my own, to find value in myself that did not depend on someone else choosing me. 5 months after Sarah left, my life had found a new normal. I was not the same person I had been before the marriage, but I was stronger, more careful with my trust, and clearer about what I deserved. Marcus convinced me to start dating again, nothing serious, just getting back out there. Through mutual friends, I met Amy at a backyard barbecue. She was a teacher, kind and funny, with this straightforward honesty I found refreshing. We started hanging out in groups, then just the two of us. I told her about Sarah early on because I did not want to hide it. She listened without judgment and said, "That sounds incredibly painful. I am glad you are moving forward." Amy did not push for anything fast. We took things slow, building friendship first. It felt different from what I had with Sarah. More grounded, more real. With Sarah, everything had been intense and romantic. With Amy, things were steady and comfortable. I was learning the difference between infatuation and genuine connection. One Tuesday evening, about 6 weeks after I met Amy, my phone rang with a number I did not recognize. I almost did not answer. When I did, I heard crying on the other end. "Pablo, it is Sarah." My heart jumped, not with excitement, but with adrenaline, the kind you get when something unexpected and unwanted happens. "Sarah, I know I have no right to call," she said through sobs, but I did not know who else to talk to. I should have hung up. but curiosity and some remaining piece of concern made me listen. "What is wrong?" Derek left me. She was crying so hard I could barely understand her. 3 weeks ago, he met someone else. He said he realized I was not actually what he wanted, that he had romanticized our past. Pablo, I made the biggest mistake of my life. I sat down processing this information. Part of me felt vindicated. The man she left me for had done exactly what he did before exactly what I could have told her he would do. But mostly I just felt sad for both of us. "I am sorry that happened," I said carefully. "I have been so stupid," Sarah continued. "I threw away everything good for a fantasy. You were the best thing that ever happened to me, and I ruined it. I miss you so much. I miss us." There it was. The real reason for the call. "Sarah, I cannot be this person for you right now," I said. "You are hurting, and I understand that. But you cannot call me expecting comfort or support. We are divorced." "I know," she said quickly. "But I was hoping maybe we could talk in person." "Just coffee. Please, Pablo." I need to explain everything properly. Every instinct told me to say no. But some part of me needed closure, needed to face this head on, and prove to myself I was truly over it. Against my better judgment, I agreed to meet her 3 days later at a coffee shop across town nowhere that held memories for us. I told Marcus about the meeting. He thought it was a terrible idea. I told Amy too because I did not want secrets. She surprised me by saying, "I trust you to handle this however you need to. Just be careful with your heart." When Saturday came, I drove to the coffee shop with my stomach in knots. I got there early and ordered a black coffee sitting at a corner table where I could see the door. When Sarah walked in, I barely recognized her. She looked exhausted, older somehow. Her hair was shorter, and she had lost weight. She smiled weakly when she saw me and walked over. "Thank you for coming," she said, sitting down across from me. I nodded, waiting. She ordered tea she did not drink and then launched into her story. After leaving me, she and Derek had been happy at first. He had been attentive and romantic, everything she remembered. But within weeks, the old patterns emerged. He was non-committal about future plans. He kept his phone locked and secretive. When she questioned him, he got defensive. By month 3, I knew I had made a mistake, Sarah said. But I was too ashamed to admit it. I had destroyed my marriage for this person, who was exactly who you probably knew he would be. Then I found out he was seeing someone else. When I confronted him, he said he never promised me exclusivity. Can you believe that? After everything I gave up? "I am sorry you went through that," I said, and I meant it. Despite everything, I did not enjoy seeing her in pain. "Pablo, I know what I did was unforgivable." She reached across the table toward my hand, but did not touch it. "But you were my best friend, before you were my husband. You understood me better than anyone. What we had was real, and I threw it away because I was chasing some idealized memory." I pulled my hand back slightly. "What are you asking me, Sarah?" She took a shaky breath. "I am asking if there is any chance we could try again. I know I do not deserve it. I know I hurt you in the worst possible way. But I learned my lesson. I know what I want now. I want you. I want what we had." She looked at me with those same eyes I had once loved, now desperate and pleading. "You are the only person who ever truly loved me for who I am. Can we start over? Can you give me another chance?" For a moment, I just sat there looking at this woman who had once been everything to me. I thought about our wedding day, her walking out 2 weeks later, the months of pain that followed. I thought about the work I had done to rebuild myself, the strength I had found, the new relationship I was building with someone who chose me first. Then I thought about what saying yes would mean. It would mean accepting that I was her backup plan, the safe choice she came back to when her exciting option fell apart. It would mean living with the knowledge that she left when something better came along and only returned when that something better left her. It would mean teaching her that treating me as a safety net was acceptable. I took a breath and looked her directly in the eyes. "Sarah, I need you to understand something. 5 months ago, you walked out on our marriage 2 weeks after we said our vows. You left me standing in our apartment feeling like the biggest fool in the world." She started to interrupt, but I continued. "You chose him. Not because I was not good enough. Not because I did not love you enough. But because you never truly let go of him in the first place. You married me while still emotionally attached to someone else. I spent weeks blaming myself, wondering what I did wrong. I could not eat, could not sleep, could not focus on anything. My family watched me fall apart. Marcus had to take care of me like I was a child. I lost 15 pounds. I cried myself to sleep more nights than I can count. Sarah was crying now, but I needed to finish. But you know what? I survived it. I went to therapy. I worked on myself. I learned that I do not need someone who sees me as a backup plan. I deserve better than that. You are not here because you realized I was the one all along," I continued. "You are here because Derek left you, and you are scared of being alone. You are here because the fantasy did not work out, and you want to retreat to something comfortable and safe. But I am not comfortable. I am not safe. I am a person who deserves to be someone's first choice. The answer is no, Sarah. I will not try again. I will not be your safety net or your second option. I deserve someone who chooses me every single day, not just when their other options disappear." I stood up and pulled out my wallet, leaving cash on the table for both our drinks. I have moved on. I am building a life with someone who values me from the start. And honestly, I am grateful you left when you did. Because staying in a marriage where I was not fully chosen would have been worse than the pain of you leaving. Sarah sat there, tears streaming down her face. "Pablo, please." "I hope you find what you are looking for," I said quietly. "I hope you figure out what you truly want, and that you learn to make better decisions. But whatever you are looking for, it is not going to be with me. Take care of yourself, Sarah. Goodbye." I walked out of that coffee shop and did not look back. My hands were shaking as I got into my car, but not from sadness or regret. I felt lighter, stronger, like I had finally closed a door that needed closing. I sat there for a minute, taking deep breaths, then I pulled out my phone and texted Amy. "Just handled something important. Want to grab dinner tonight?" She responded immediately. "Absolutely. Proud of you." I drove away from that coffee shop and the ghost of my failed marriage. I drove toward the life I was building, the person I was becoming, and the future that was mine to create. 6 months passed after that meeting with Sarah. Amy and I grew closer, building something genuine and healthy. She knew my whole story and never made me feel broken because of it. We talked about real things, plans, and dreams and fears. She chose me clearly, consistently every single day. I did the same for her. Work continued going well. I led a team on a major project that earned recognition from company leadership. They offered me a position as lead engineer with a significant raise. I accepted. My confidence, shattered by Sarah's betrayal, had rebuilt itself through my own effort and the support of people who truly cared about me. My relationship with my family deepened through the whole experience. My mother told me she was proud of how I handled everything. My sister said I inspired her to have higher standards for how people treated her. Even my dad, in his quiet way, told me I had shown real strength. Their support had been crucial to my healing. Marcus remained my best friend, the person who saw me at my lowest and never judged. We talked about how the experience changed me. I was more cautious now. Yes, but also more aware of what I truly needed in a relationship. I was not naive anymore, but I had not become cynical either. I had found a balance between openness and wisdom. One Saturday afternoon, Amy and I were grocery shopping, laughing about something ridiculous as we compared pasta sauce options. I looked up and saw Sarah 3 aisles away. She was alone, looking at her phone, her cart nearly empty. She glanced up and our eyes met for a brief second. I saw recognition, maybe regret, flash across her face. I did not feel anger or pain. I did not feel much of anything, except a distant sort of sadness for who we both used to be. I nodded slightly. A simple acknowledgement that we had once known each other. She looked away quickly and turned down another aisle. Amy had not noticed. She was reading ingredients on a jar, making a joke about chemicals we could not pronounce. I put my hand on her back and steered her toward the checkout. Grateful for this moment, this person, this life I had built from the ashes of heartbreak. That night lying in bed, I thought about the whole journey, from that perfect wedding day to the devastating abandonment, through the slow, painful healing to finding real love again. The experience had not broken me. It had revealed what I was made of. I learned that self-worth cannot depend on someone else choosing you. It has to come from within, from knowing your own value, regardless of who sees it. I learned that forgiveness is not about the other person deserving it. It is about freeing yourself from the weight of bitterness. I had forgiven Sarah not because what she did was okay, but because I deserved the peace that came with letting go. I learned that resilience is not about never falling apart. It is about how you put yourself back together afterward. I learned that real love is not the passionate intensity of new romance. It is the steady choice two people make every day to show up for each other. Most importantly, I learned that sometimes the worst thing that happens to you becomes the catalyst for the best thing. Sarah leaving me 2 weeks after our wedding was devastating, but it freed me from a marriage built on shaky ground. It pushed me to grow in ways I never would have otherwise. It brought me to Amy, to a healthier version of myself, to a life I actually wanted rather than one I settled for. Sarah did not destroy me, she freed me. And now I was exactly where I was supposed to be, with someone who chose me from the very first day and continued choosing me every day after. If you are going through something similar right now, if someone has made you feel like a backup plan or a second choice, I want you to hear this clearly. You are never anyone's backup plan. You are someone's first choice, their only choice, their everyday choice. And if someone cannot see that, if they make you question your worth or keep you waiting while they figure out what they want, walk away. Your person is out there. The one who will not need to lose you to realize what they had. The one who will choose you on the easy days and the hard days, on the exciting days and the boring days. The one who sees you clearly and wants you anyway, not despite your flaws but with full acceptance of who you are. Do not settle for being chosen only when other options disappear. Do not accept love that comes with conditions and hesitations. You deserve someone who is sure about you, who makes you feel secure, who builds you up rather than tears you down. The pain you feel right now is real and valid. Let yourself feel it. Cry, get angry, lean on people who love you. But do not let it define you. Do not let someone else's inability to love you properly make you believe you are unlovable. You are not the problem. Their inability to see your worth is their loss, not your failure. Healing takes time. Some days you will feel strong, other days the pain will hit you all over again. That is normal. That is part of the process. Be patient with yourself. Seek help if you need it. Talk to friends, family, or a therapist. Do things that remind you of who you are beyond this relationship. And when you are ready, open your heart again. Not to the same person who hurt you, not to someone who only wants you when it is convenient, but to someone new, someone who earns your trust slowly and proves they deserve it. Someone who makes you feel chosen, valued, and seen. That person exists. I found mine. You will find yours too. But first you have to believe you are worth finding. You have to know deep in your bones that you deserve to be someone's first choice every single time. So what about you? Have you ever been in a situation where you felt like someone's backup plan? How did you handle it? What did you learn from the experience? I would love to hear your thoughts and stories in the comments below. Your experience might help someone else who is going through something similar right now. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button. It really helps this channel reach more people who might need to hear this message. Subscribe if you have not already, because I share more stories like this one, stories about resilience, growth, and finding your way through difficult times. And please, share this video with anyone who might need to hear it. Someone in your life might be struggling with feeling like a second choice, and this story could be exactly what they need to find the strength to walk away and choose themselves. Thank you so much for watching and for being part of this community. I appreciate every single one of you who takes the time to listen to these stories and share your own experiences. Remember, your worth is not determined by who chooses to stay or leave. You are valuable, you are enough, and you deserve to be loved fully and completely. Take care of yourselves out there. Choose people who choose you. And never ever settle for being anyone's backup plan. You deserve so much more than that.